Hey everyone, welcome to the latest Hello Drunk World. Latest Hello Drunk World with the Dyslexic developer. Yet to perfect this intro outro kind of thing. Let me see some additions and change ups to the setup here. We got some artwork, more lights. Hopefully, content and mic and everything is working okay. So, gonna jump right into this. I've been meaning to for a while play about with Deno, which is like the kind of, I guess you could call it the Node.js killer. For me, it is just a replacement for Node. Like, there's nothing too fancy about it. So I wanted to play about something. I had an idea for like a scripting tool that I could build with it. So there's a bit of potential there. My main actual use case for it was I wanted to build a website scraping tool. Like, kind of background and context to this is I recently moved house and I don't know when my bins get collected. So like our local council has a website where you can put in your postcode, choose your address from a drop down, and then it'll tell you that information. Now that is that is one too many steps that I have to go through to find out when my bin is going to be collected and which bin do I put out for collection. I could probably learn the schedule or watch the neighbors, but again, I'm a developer. I should be putting some effort into this and doing something that I can, actually build. So on today's stream, we're going to install Deno, or Deno, however you pronounce it. Then we're going to use it to scrape a website, gather some information, and then potentially build like a basic site that gives us the data on it. Could be a script that I could run on a server somewhere. I don't know anywhere I could host a Deno script or a Deno server for free, because I'm not going to pay for it. But I have a Raspberry Pi that I've been meaning to dust off and play about with. So if I could get Deno running on that, or Deno, then I can use that to run a little server, ping that server, potentially then make a React Native app around it, and then I have a site that tells me when my bin is going to get collected. So before we get started, wine time. So I'm still working off a little collection of wines I got as part of this company, 6 by Nico. They're like a Northern Ireland, London and Glasgow company. Very nice. They have this X by Nico home thing. I'm not sponsored whatsoever. But they make some good wines, so I'll get the wine ASMR going. Make sure I don't spill any over my laptop. Thanks for the comment on the setup, Paul. Yeah, it's taken some time to get here, but it's like little steps, little bits here and there. Still want to potentially do more. I'm perfecting the camera. I'm thinking about getting a wide angle camera lens for the setup to kind of show off more what's going on, but getting lighting and everything on it's a pain. Hello, Mr. Shaw. That's right, let's jump into this. I've actually got hotkeys working, so I'm looking down, my keyboard's down below me, and I'm still figuring out how to get everything fucking working on it. And the chat and everything's down there. So I got a comment recently on Twitter saying that they like the idea of building a checklist whenever you're going through and working on something. So I thought, let's build the checklist again using Markdown. So this is the kind of the things that I'm going to hopefully achieve. So we're going to do a hello world in Deno, make a fetch call, parse the data, get the info that we need, format some dates, and then hopefully return it from the web server. So first thing we want to do is first thing you would want to do is install Deno. I have obviously already installed it to save time, but it's really easy. I think the easiest way is just using a curl if you're on a Linux-based architecture, else you can figure it out. One of the interesting things with Deno is it's JavaScript, but it's TypeScript. Well, I call them the same, but I know TypeScript is a superset or whatever kind of shit you want to believe. So all the files are going to be .ts files. So let's create a new TypeScript file. and we're going to call this crawl. So to test out if this is all working, let's first just do console.log hello drunk world, and then I should be able to just say Deno or Deno. I'm going to change what I say the whole way through this. Deno crawl.ts. Oh, maybe I have to run a command as well. I should have read the docs on this beforehand. So if I skim through the docs, Deno run and then the file. So if I do run, and then prints out the console. Basic enough, you know. You can test that this is actually running that script. So I think that's fine. So the base of this is all kind of forms of this site that I want to scrape data from. It's Belfast City Council website. If you're from Northern Ireland, you may have been on this website before. Works perfectly fine. I just don't want to have to click through. Annoyingly, the site, you know, it's an ASP like built site, so it's all server rendered. So it sends post body information and then returns like server rendered HTML. Whereas if this was like a single page application built with like Angular or React or Vue, I could probably watch the network traffic, see that there was an API that was getting this information. I guess this is the way they went. Probably a legacy development project. But the crux of it is you select a street name or a postcode. Obviously I'm not stupid, and I'm not going to put my postcode into this. So I went on to a local property website, clicked on a random listing. There was a house, got their postcode. Don't even know what the street name is. Okay, I'm going to have to go get another one. Gonna have to find a random one that's in Belfast. We'll go for sale. Okay, here's one here. I'm gonna pick a random house. I don't care where it is, what it is. This is public information, I believe, so it doesn't matter that I'm putting on the stream. I'm just not putting my own. I know my luck, it'll probably autocomplete with my address. Okay, we're going to go for 433. Okay, so this is what I see from my address. And this is the information I want. I don't want to have to type in my postcode, open a drop down, select my address. I want this table. Preferably even cut down shorter. So if we open up our network tools, and we'll pop this out into a new window. And I think we can bump this size up. So let's look what this page is doing. So if I click look up address and go to network, we can see a lot of things are going on here. So let's clear this out. What I care about is whenever I've selected the address, what is happening when I select that address, so I can then, you know, fake that with my Deno script. So we're going to go 433 because it sounds like a HTTP code. HTTP 433. Is it a code? Client certificate lacks? Maybe. Yeah, so if we go back here, we can see a lot of requests were made there because I'm not filtering them down yet. But these are all script files. They're all fonts, images, that kind of stuff. I don't really care about them. This one here of address lookup, because it's called the ASP page, this is what interests me. And it has form data being sent with it. So it has like a post body and its request. And if we dig down far enough, I think we can find in here where it actually has the information I care about. It is going to be in here somewhere. Yeah, so address text box. So it has this being sent off to the server to give me back the information for that. So this is kind of where we can start from and where we can grab this to make our Deno script call this site, scrape the data, and pull it back. I could form a fetch or a curl or whatever myself from scratch, but tools can do that for me. So I can right click on here and I can do copy as fetch. And then thankfully, Deno has fetch built in. So I didn't kind of go too far in the Deno thing, so we'll jump back to this. So Deno has a manual, tells you how to kind of do different things, and here is one about examples, fetching data. So it has fetch allowed already, and then it has like where is the Deno docs? So if I do fetch, we can go to the fetch API. So it comes with fetch built in, and it's kind of like the fetch you would get in the browser. So it's kind of something that we can work off and think about. So we can see in their example, fetching the URL, json.then, similar to how you do a fetch in the browser, where you do fetch dot, I think it's like fetch, and then it would be like res.json, then whatever. So let's try our fetch. So if we copy and paste this in, I'll say it's like a big chunk of data that we don't really care too much about. So what I might even do is, can we assign this to a variable? Yeah, I think we can. Actually, we'll leave that for now. So in their example, they assign it to a variable called JSON, and then they do the .then on that. So we'll stick with that example. And then we can do JSON.then. And this is the other kind of interesting thing. I've slowly becoming across to TypeScript and the benefits of TypeScript, and where I could see it used more in projects. The auto completion. So because of TypeScript, WebStorm knows that JSON is a promise, or returns a promise, so it automatically gives me then and catches the top things on it. If this was just normal JavaScript, it wouldn't have a clue what fetch is going to return. IDs are getting better at it, but technically, it's near enough impossible, because it's fetch, the browser fetch, node fetch, my fetch, anyone else's fetch. So we're going to say then, and then we're going to say response. And I'm going to create another function without having the fat finger type everywhere. So then in here, we're going to do return. And it's going to be response.json, which takes the response, converts it into JSON, and then returns another promise. So then this is going to be .then, and then this will be our data. And then here we can just do data.log, the console log it. And then I guess run this to see what comes out. So clear this, run our, okay. So leads on to another kind of interesting thing about Deno is it is very strict about what you can and cannot run. I think one of the ideas that the creator Ryan Dahl had about it should be, security first. You shouldn't be able to do things like Node has a big issue where it isn't sandboxed. It can just do whatever it wants, and there's been instances before where someone could easily write a script that would like cd up directories, get to your user directory, and pull sensitive information from your machine or the server that you are running on. My mustache is soaking in wine. So by default, you have to opt in to these different levels of talking to the file system, talking to the network. So thankfully enough, it kind of gives us a decent enough error saying uncaught promise, permission denied, network access to whatever. Run again with the allow-net flag. So it comes there. Unexpected token in our JSON now. Because our call isn't JSON. So if we jump, if we go back into our DevTools, and if we copied this as a curl and clear our console and run it, so it's actually going to come back as a load of text, because it's like returning technically text to the browser, and the browser is rendering that as HTML. So converting that to JSON isn't going to work for us. So we need to think about here, whenever we have response.json, what else do we have as a method? And because we have TypeScript, we get our, we should have decent auto completion. So JSON clone text is promising, no pun on the promise. So let's go for text, and then let's rerun our script. So we go Deno run dash allow dash, what was it again? Allow dash net, I want to say. Yeah, allow dash net crawl.ts. Okay, so now we're getting the raw HTML, or the raw content actually of that page, because it has script tags and everything in it. Some encoded data in there as well. But let's see if we can find this content, because then we know that we've scraped that page and we can do something with that page. So yeah, that looks like it there. So we have our general waste, compost, and then the data that get collected. So we've kind of, right, let's go back to our checklist. We've done things. We did a hello world. We made a fetch call. So now we need to do something with this data, because all I've done is, well, this on its own could replace this page, because I don't have to go through any extra steps. I could host this page, host this script somewhere, and it would return the render page. But I don't particularly care too much about the rest of this data. I just want this. All I want is these rows from the table, and then potentially I want to remove the days and how often, and I just want to know which bin and the collection. So let's see how we can like start breaking this down and pulling out what we care about. So the kind of inefficient, naive way would be to like try and like break out the text using like a regex or some sort of like string manipulation. That's going to be really hard because we have DOM, or we have HTML mixed in with CSS mixed in with scripts, everything. It's going to be really hard. So what we are going to use, or what we can use, is this library called Cheerio. So I've used this before, I think, on one of my last streams, maybe, I'm not sure. So Cheerio is a like version of jQuery, but in like Node and now in Deno. So you can do certain actions, similar to how you can like manipulate and play with the DOM. So if I open this up, and go to the console now, this doesn't have jQuery. I thought I turned off my do not disturb. Yep, do not disturb. I didn't. So in this case, like this page doesn't have jQuery installed, but like Chrome has like a kind of like jQuery, API. So it has like $, where I can say table. Yeah, so like I can pick up the table. If I say, well, I want the table row, I can grab table row or table cell. Yeah, and we can work through that kind of way. And Cheerio is very similar to this. It has like a very jQuery like API that allows us to like map through things. Like I think if I did for each, oh, it's not a function. But then document dot query selector would query selector all. Dot for each console.log item.text, and that should, but you know, it's not text, it's inner HTML. Yeah, log through them, print them out. So I want to be able to do the same, but in the Deno script. So this is where we're going to need to pull in Cheerio and use that. So if we look at, so actually before we go, this is like the permissions that you have for Deno that you can use for, you know, different things. So like there's allow environment or environment access, things like get and set environment variables, high resolution time management, plugins, read, write, so secure and, you know, all that kind of jazz. I think I have a link already here to Cheerio. If in doubt, this Google. So Cheerio.js Deno. The other interesting mode we'll actually see when we get into it, how we use it. So yeah, Deno land. So Deno land is Deno's version of like npm.js, where it lists out all like the kind of third-party packages. So we can see here this kind of simple example that they provide. So we need to first import Cheerio. And then this is where I kind of find this so strange, is like instead of, you know, an npm, you would have done an npm install, it would have existed in your package JSON file. It would have then created a node modules directory where it would have actually installed that code for you. With Deno, you import everything from URLs. And I think the idea behind this is, you know, you're importing from that hosted site, it's trusted. You're not having to bring everything on your machine. You don't get conflicts, like, you know, if I install something and someone else installs something, like, is it the same code? Where this is always coming from this code base. And as far as I understand, Deno caches it locally for you anyway, which makes me kind of think there's an npm modules for Deno somewhere in your machine, just you can't see it and you don't have to think about it. Again, that's kind of a good thing. Having to put in all this shit would be frustrating. And I was listening to a podcast recently. It was the Syntax podcast with Wes Boss and Scott Langsey, and they talked about, like, you know, what people end up doing is having a Deno modules file that has all of your imports, and then exports them, or imports them and exports them, and then you just import from that Deno modules file, which is just a package JSON. I know there's probably benefits here, and someone will tell me at some point, but yeah. The one good thing about this though is this is good for prototyping. Like, we don't have anything else, we just have this one file and we're able to do everything that we need. So let's see. So in the Cheerio docs, it's saying loading HTML and then getting the content. Yeah, we can do that. So in here, when we have our data, I'm just wondering, Deno is async, top level async, top level async, top level await. That's what I was looking for. And I wonder, can I, because I don't like having promises, can I just say const text equals wait. Is that, say, no, that would be response. Then from there I should be able to say const data equals response or await response.text, then data.log. So I want to write, I don't know what I just did there. Oh, I want to write asynchronous code if I'm writing TypeScript. Let's clear this and run again. Oh, that worked. Okay, so we don't have to do .thens and all. So I don't know why they didn't push that in the docs. So now we can replace this with const dollar. I'm thinking, yeah, can we do a pound symbol? Yeah, equals Cheerio dot load and pass in our data. Go back to the Cheerio docs. Oh, what's it not liking? Cheerio has an implicit any type. See if this runs. And log this out. I don't think it likes the pound symbol. Oh, fucking hell. It's because of the dollar. Yeah, I was trying to be funny. Because I'm British. Well, no, I'm not British. I'm Irish, but I live in the UK. That'll come back to bite me in the ass. Okay, cool. So we have our dollar kind of variable, which would act similar to jQuery. So from here, I should be able to say content dot, go by the example text. We don't have a content, sorry. Table. Actually, I'm going to make this over here and bring our editor down a bit because we're spending more time in the terminal at the moment. Table.text. Okay, so we've got the text printed out from it, which is kind of good, but I don't want to be breaking apart bits of the string and having to like regex on that kind of stuff. Well, like, could I easily do that? So let's see, because I'm assuming that's all split up with new lines. So const table text equals that dot split \n new lines and put that in there. What happens? So it does split it. I've got these weird TTTs. I wonder if I split it on that instead. But then again, all these are joined up together. So I think going that way is not going to work. I want to break it down by actual like DOM nodes, which is going to be worse. Or is it? Because we have, I don't care about the Tuesday fortnight, but I just want to say, yeah, I'm trying to think. I'll have to do some funky, weird ass regex. Right, I'm gonna go for the HTML way of doing it, which it's going to be messy because I've worked with Cheerio before and it has limitations, and I'm sure I can probably achieve it better. But this is the way it worked for me. So let's say table data. So we want to grab our table data. So table data is going to be just those rows, but I want to strip out bits and pieces of it as we go. So we're going to say table tr. So I'm going to keep logging everything out as we go. So yeah, we get into this kind of realm where it's like the raw Cheerio interface. It isn't great, but we can figure this out. So I know from the DOM of this that we don't want. So what was this again for the table? Yeah, we don't really want the caption. We don't want the table header. We want the table rows. So that's why I put in the tr. So let's clear this out. We've got a document query selector, table, tr, and that's going to give us 4 items. Again, don't want the first one, so I want to filter that out. So we're going to dot filter, and we're going to say item I. What does the filter take again? Select a string and returns a Cheerio, which gives you index Cheerio and then length. I think Cheerio has a funny API. Yes, so Cheerio actually does the index first, then the item. And we're going to say if, so I'm going to remove the first index. I suppose we could just split the, oh no, we can't, it's not, because it's not an actual array, it's a Cheerio object. So we need to say if I equals 0, or if I is not equal 0, and this will remove the first element. We return item. So let's run that. Ooh, we're getting an error. What do we get? Filter. Filter takes a function. That closes the function. Oh, I didn't have a comma here, but actually when looking at that, we don't actually need item. Can I get rid of these as well, or is TypeScript going to complain? So we just do return true, because filter only returns true or false. If you turn the item, you're technically returning a truthy value. TypeScript's going to complain because it wants brackets, doesn't it? No, I'm not converting the name function. Do I have to make this a name function? No, I don't. I don't have to make it a name function. What the fuck? I think I'm overloading this too much. Let's try doing our filter again. So filter I not equal to 0. Yeah, it's because we were going overboard with the function. So clear this out, run again. So, well, I didn't do it in the best possible way, but I guess, do we have a length on that? Okay, so now we have 3. So previously we took off, well, previously we had 4, so now we have 3 of them. So we have these 3 rows, and I want to grab information from each of them. So then we're going to do a dot map, and again, Cheerio from my memory takes the index, then the element, where a normal map would be the element or the item in your array and your index. So we're going to say item, can't do a comma at the minute, create our function, and let's first console.log item return item, just for now. We always want to keep return our item for now. Run this to see what it does. Right, it's going to print out that. Now, can we wrap that in a Cheerio wrapper so we can actually like interrogate it and work with it? Because like at the minute, does that have a as a data attribute? So if we just take one of these, just can find where we started our script. A lot of data. Probably a lot of it very unnecessary, but somebody uses it. I'm used to, like, I don't know why, I'm used to hacking through these really big obscure data structures. My terminal won't even go that far. What we'll actually do is if I equals 0, log it. So we only log one of these. It's not going to be huge. Probably missing. If I can find where this item starts, pretty sure. Yeah, tag TD. Right, I need to spam this out. This is only one element. This is all the data because it does look this weird nested structure, right? So this is our tag. I want to get the TD from it, which would be the table cell. Not sure why they didn't make that a TC, but I'm sure there's another TC tag. So we're in the table row, and table row has children. Each of these are TDs, so you can see that's TD. We don't have any data on it. I think we'd have to go into them to get it. Yeah, so I think we need to dig further into those. So I thought I heard my fan going. So can we say const element equals, so we're going to wrap it in a Cheerio wrapper, and then we can start working with it. Handy if I put in an equal symbol. So wrap it in that, and then we'll say find, because then we're now back into our Cheerio API, so we can call find on it. And we're going to look for all the TDs, and we want to get, I guess, the first, because that has the bin type. Log. Oh, don't update. Okay, that worked. So yeah, we need to find on that TD, and then we need to grab some. But I can see out here there's mention of data. So right, we'll log those out first. See what happens. I need to get rid of that other log. That's going to confuse. Still a lot of wall of text. But this is now the first TD. Yeah, so first TD is children, data, general waste. So let's grab that information. Yeah, first it's got children. Children is an array. Dot, get the first one, get its data. Let's run this again. Okay, so general waste bin. So now we can do this for all of those. This is a lengthy exercise. So remove our conditional. So now we'll be printing out all the bin types. So we need to also then get all the next collection. So that's 0, 1, 2, 3. So we want to get the third. So this is going to be bin type. And then the last one's going to be next collection. And instead of get 0, it's going to be get 3. And we're going to print these both out. Yep, we have each of them when they're next going to be collected. So we're in a map here for a reason, so we're going to map this out into our actual table data because that's all we really care about. So now we can actually say return, get rid of return item, get rid of this conditional comment, and then we're going to say, I'm going to make this a bit more clear, type and collection. Fix the indent on this. So then we can say print out our table data, which should be that in a nice little format. That did not work. Mapping over these. Don't know why that return is wrapped like that, maybe. I'm still logging something somewhere, I think. Yeah. What am I missing? Why is it still printing out all that other shite? That should map it into... Map it, changes it, transforms it. Unless this map doesn't. Unless this map just iterates over the top of it. So we're going to do let data because we're lazy and I'm getting drunk, and then we're going to say instead of map, this will be for each and data dot concat array. Actually, just data equals dot data. Going to be a little bit more clear and to the point. What's complaining about with data? It's a let. Oh, I've got two datas. Call this print data. So okay, that's print data. And now we're going to log out print data instead of table data, and this should be just what we need. Print data implicitly has a type any bracket in some locations where it cannot be determined. I forgot that we're in. Fuck it, any. I was gonna actually really go all in on TypeScript, but we're already like 50 minutes in. Oh, what the fuck is all of this shit? What? It's breaking it down into individual letters. What the fuck? Oh no, it's data. Fuck, that's right. It should be spreading print data in. I was lucky. That was going okay. Yeah, right. We have an array of that. This is something that we can do something with. So we probably going to lose some steps here, but we've got our setup, so we can parse our data, get needed info. Not too worried about formatting data. So the last part we're going to do is return from a server. So luckily enough, Deno has like their first example is a server, because that's what everyone does with Node. You build like an Express server or something like that. So we can easily just grab this. They have their own server module. Pull that in and then copy paste to this. And then we can talk through what it actually means as well. So what this says is create a server on port 8000, log that out obviously, and then because we have the top level await, we can say like await for requests. So when any request comes back from our server, then trigger a response. So for us, we actually want to trigger this whole thing. So we could grab all this and function fetch bin data. Right, fetch function, yeah, fetch bin data. Ah shit, lost the copy. Function fetch bin data. You get the brackets on there. Paste all our stuff inside. And I guess this is actually a promise. Yeah, it's got async command. It's actually a promise. So this is going to be async. Which side does the async go on? Ah, this is there. JavaScript async anonymous function. It's not really an anonymous function, but it's a name function. They're usually written async there. So then, as long as this does return table data, and then in here we want to say, let's switch, we'll say await fetch bin data. So our response. And then we can say, and then yeah, we can pass that in. So we can say yes. Can we pass that as the body data, or do we just respond with that completely? I don't even know what the error was complaining about, but this is press it. True has no properties in common with response. What the fuck? Yeah, we'll suppress that. So let's run. Sorry, we have a server running. We go localhost 8. Yeah, failed. Why did it fail? Network. I think it's because of the async nature of this. Don't think I can do an await in here because that's an await. So it might be the case of then let's say bin data body bin data. What was I complaining about? Yeah, we can see that works. It'll probably fail to compile because of TS. So let's ignore that. Fix our typos on our bin data and add a TS ignore for this. Which was a strange one. So clear, run again. Right, our server is running. Open up our terminal, refresh our page. Oof, it is not working. R.read is not a function. What are we missing? What are we missing? Clear the server. Fetch bin data. Fetch bin data is async. Maybe because it's async. If I just make it out that it's... No, it has to be async. And if I call that then... If I just respond with bin data instead of respond with the body. The server works this time, but it's not actually rendered anything out, which is interesting. That's where this random fucking fault has come from. Let's try again with the body then. It's not complaining now. Well, I have that TS ignore on. Take that away. I wonder if there's a way to return JSON back. I think it's because I've gone async in there instead of just doing the promise-based stuff. Everything does come back. Inline that return. They're all fine. I've got our fetch. What the fuck is it failing with? Type error. Read is not defined. Server request on respond. How do I get it to just respond with JSON? I guess I'll read the docs. Manual, save. Yeah, go to the guide, the manual. Where is the server? I have it somewhere here. Yeah. It's given the status and everything. I'm going to try that. Okay, so first we're going to just try and get it to return $200 with JSON. I don't want rendering content. I can just type this out. Respond status 200 body. Oh, do I need a JSON stringify it because it's returning an object? So if I do foo bar, come on, I can type, dot, right, grab that, JSON stringify that. Oh yeah, I think I figured it out. So obviously, but like a server just can't return. I can't parse raw AST JavaScript or Java or whatever. You need to tell it how to like return JavaScript in a like unreadable way. So is this gonna work? Okay, that's fine. So now if I do the same here, I do body and it's going to be JSON.stringify our bin data. One thing I need to look at is like a version of NodeMon but for Deno. So refresh our server. It didn't work. Object constructor node circular structure. Ah, no, fuck. Because I'm not dealing with print data. I got hung up on returning what was coming out of the filter and the each, because that's what I would normally do with JavaScript, but it's actually the print data that I want. Save, run, browser, refresh. There we go. We've got our data. Now, gonna hit our limit here, but the next steps from here would potentially to format this into my own HTML, or make a little kind of funky dashboard, or potentially pipe this into a Lambda that could talk to like a Google Home device or some sort of smart speaker. But I definitely think there's a lot of potential in Deno. It's a good replacement for Node. I like the fact that it's security focused. It's got TypeScript built in. I don't have to worry about configuring anything. Like as you've seen in the code base, it was just one TS file, and I was able to do everything. There was no installing, there was no compiling, there was no nothing. I'm sure there is like a NodeMon equivalent where I can automatically restart the process whenever file changes. Probably something built into the actual operating system itself. But yeah, I think it's really cool, and we kind of got there. Thanks to everyone who was watching along. Comment, subscribe, follow, all that.